blue eyes flashed behind a pair of black-rimmed glasses. Jason closed the classroom door behind him, tucked his books under his arm, and forced a smile. A little white scar twitching at the corner of his lip. Piper! Hey! I wondered how Piper managed to look so calm. I'd gone through many complicated breakups. They never got easier. And Piper didn't have the advantage of being able to turn her ex into a tree, or simply wait until his short mortal life was over before returning to Earth. Hey yourself, she said. Just a hint of strain in her voice. This is Meg McCaffrey, Jason said. And Paula, I've been waiting for you guys. He didn't sound terribly excited about it. He said it the way someone might say, I've been waiting for the results from my emergency brain scan. Meg sized up Jason as if she found his glasses far inferior to her own. Yeah? Yeah. Jason peered down the breezeway in each direction. Let's go back to my dorm room. I'm not safe out here. Chapter 22. For my school project, I made this pagan temple monopoly board. We had to get past a teacher and 2 hall monitors, but thanks to Piper's charm speak, they all agreed that it was perfectly normal for the 4 of us, including 2 females, to stroll into the dormitory during classroom hours. Once we reached Jason's room, Piper stopped at the door. Define not safe. Jason peered over her shoulder. Monsters have infiltrated the faculty. I'm keeping an eye on the humanities teacher. Pretty sure she's an Impusa. I already had to slay my AP calculus teacher because he was a Lemni. Coming from a mortal, such talk would have been labeled homicidally paranoid. Coming from a demigod, it was a description of an average week. Lemni, huh? Meg reappraised Jason, as if deciding that his glasses might not be so bad. I hate Lemni. Jason smirked. Come on in. I would have called his room Spartan, but I had seen the bedrooms of actual Spartans. They would have found Jason's dorm ridiculously comfortable. The 50-foot square space had a bookcase, a bed, a desk, and a closet. The only luxury was the window that looked out across the canyons. In the room with the warm scent of the hyacinth. Did it have to be hyacinth? My heart always seemed to smell like fragrance, even after thousands of years. On Jason's wall hung a framed picture of his sister, Thalia, smiling at the camera, the bow slung across her back. Her short, dark hair blown sideways by the wind. Except for her dazzling blue eyes, she looked nothing like her brother. Then again, neither of them looked anything like me, and as the son of Zeus, I was technically their brother. And I flirted with Thalia, which, ew. Curse you for having so many children. It made dating a true minefield over millennia. Your sister says hello, by the way, I said. Jason's eyes brightened. You saw her? I launched into an explanation of our time in Indianapolis. Way Station, the Emperor Commodus, the Hunters of Artemis repelling into the football stadium to rescue us. Then I backed up and explained the triumvirate, and all the miserable things that had happened to me since emerging from that Manhattan dumpster. Meanwhile, Piper sat cross-legged on the floor, her back against the wall, as far as possible from the more comfortable sitting option of the bed. Meg stood at Jason's desk, examining some sort of school project. Foam cores studded with little plastic boxes, perhaps to represent buildings. When I casually mentioned that Leo was alive and well, and presently on a mission to Camp Jupiter, all the electrical outlets in the room sparked. Jason looked at Piper stunned. I know, she said. After all I went through, I can't even. Jason sat heavily on his bed. I don't know whether to laugh or yell. Don't limit yourself, grumbled Piper. Do both. Meg called from the desk. Hey, who is this? Jason flushed. A personal project. It's Temple Hill, Piper offered, showing careful neutral. At Camp Jupiter. I took a closer look. Piper was right. I recognized the layout of the temples and shrines where Camp Jupiter demigods honored the ancient deities. The building was represented by a small plastic box glued to the board. The names of the shrines hand-labeled on the foam core. Jason had even marked lines of elevation, showing the hill's topographical levels. I found my temple, Apollo, symbolized by a red plastic building. It was not nearly as nice as the real thing, with its golden roof, platinum filigree designs, but I didn't want to be critical. Are these Monopoly houses? Meg asked. Jason shrugged. I kinda used whatever I had. The greenhouses and red hotels. I squinted at the board. I hadn't descended in glory to Temple Hill for quite some time, but the display seemed more crowded than the actual hill. There were at least 20 small tokens I didn't recognize. I leaned in and read some of the handwritten labels. Chemipolia. My goodness. I haven't thought about her in centuries. Why did the Romans build her a shrine? They haven't yet, Jason said. But I made her a promise. She helped us out on our voyage to Athens. The way he said that, I decided he meant she agreed not to kill us, which was much more in keeping with Chemopolia's character. I told her I'd make sure none of the gods and goddesses were forgotten. Jason continued. Either at Camp Jupiter or Camp Half-Blood. I'd see to it they all had some sort of shrine at both camps. Piper glanced at me. He's done a ton of work on his designs. You should see his sketchbook. Jason frowned, clearly unsure whether Piper was praising him or criticizing him. The smell of burning electricity thickened in the air. Well, said Ladd, the designs won't win any awards. I'll need Annabeth to help with the actual blueprints. Honoring the gods is a noble image, I said. You should be proud. Jason did not look proud. He looked worried. I remembered what Medea had said about the oracle's news. The truth was enough to bring Jason grace. He did not appear. And then again, I did not appear to be.
Why did you just do that? Throw that thing.
I frowned. I'd been fairly sure I'd gotten a hotel, as opposed to Ares' house. But that was more important to me. Meg tapped her mother's token. Meteor's cool. You should put the cool gods next to her. Meg, I chided. You can't arrange the gods by coolness. That would lead to too many fights. Besides, I thought, everyone would want to be next to me. Then I wondered bitterly if that would still be true when and if I made it back to Olympus. Would my time as Lester mark me forever as an immortal dweeb? Anyway, Piper interrupted. The reason we came. The burning maze. She didn't accuse Jason of holding back information. She didn't tell him what Medea had said. She simply studied his face, waiting to see how he would respond. Jason laced his fingers. He stared at the sheathed gladius propped against the wall next to a lacrosse stick and a tennis racket. These fancy boarding schools really offered the full range of extracurricular options. I didn't tell you everything, he admitted. Piper's silence felt more powerful than her charm speaking. I reached the Sybil, Jason continued. Can't even explain how. I just stumbled into this big room with a pool of fire. The Sybil was standing across this stone platform, her arm chained with some fiery shackles. Hierophily, I said. Her name is Hierophily. Jason blinked, as if he could still feel the heat and cinders of the room. I wanted to free her, he said, obviously. But she told me it wasn't possible. It had to be. He gestured at me. She told me it was a trap. The whole name. Or Apollo. She told me you'd eventually come find me. But her, Meg. Hierophily said there was nothing I could do, except give you help if you asked for it. She said to tell you, Apollo, you have to rescue her. I knew all this, of course. I had seen and heard as much in my dreams. Jason, in the waking world, of course. Piper rested her head against the wall. She stared at a water stain on the ceiling. What else did Hierophily say? Jason's face tightened. Hides. Look, I'm sorry to tell you. What else did she say? Piper repeated. Jason looked at Meg, then at me, maybe for moral support. The Sybil told me where I could find the Emperor, he said. Well, more or less. She said Apollo would need the information. He would need a pair of shoes. I know that doesn't make much sense.